Okay, that's a mic. You'll hear that in a couple seconds. Just me first. Hold on one sec. We're also going to grab this. Okay. Say something for me.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello?
So you should hear shortly after you hear me start speaking, you should hear yourself in music.
Hello?
Did you hear any of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you hearing it okay?
Yep.
Did you hear yourself?
Yep.
How are our levels voice versus music?
I don't know. I guess it's okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, get comfy.
Um. Okay. I think the stream is all set. What's up, Cap? Wow, what is that icon, bro? Oh, it's the Frasley one. That's cute. That's really cute. What's up, Wicked Kitten? Squid with Frasley in the middle of it. All right, how are levels, guys? Voices versus music.
Voices versus music.
Can you hear us both? Can you hear the music underneath? But hopefully not overwhelming. I think I always need to be closer to my mic. I think I'm constantly doing that. Good on the phone app. Wicked Kitten, if you were there and if you were on desktop, I'd love a levels check on there as well, if you wouldn't mind. Do you want to pre a little bit for the intro for the show?
Sure.
Or would you rather just dive right in?
Yes.
That's a yes to both, though.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm just going into the notes real quick here. Are you in the notes doc?
No.
Could you be? Please? What's up, Crushinator? And thanks, Kitten. Appreciate it very much. We're just working out some kinks here, and then we'll get started shortly. Oh, Crush, some kind of week indeed. Holy crap. Glad you're here, buddy. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's jump to the intro real quick. Give it a moment, and then we'll switch over to fully live for like the recording purposes. You know how like we used to do the intro and then come back?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that so I can just get a little bit of time on the recording.
Sure.
Switching over to intro now. And we are back and live. You there, Thist?
Alive?
A-live.
Yeah, I guess.
And we got the funky, fresh Halloween theme going. Special thanks to Techie Taco from back in the day.
Yes, from last Halloween, probably.
Yes, definitely from
one
last
before
Halloween.
I think the last time we were using this, you were dressed like a butterfly and I was dressed like Silent Bob.
We can do that again still. Are we going to do that again?
Absolutely. I want to be Silent Bob so bad. And like not only for
IRL?
Halloween, but for IRL and for the Jane Silent Bob reboot next week.
It comes out next week?
Yep.
Oh shit.
Hell yeah.
Are you gonna wear that then to the movie?
100% yes.
100?
100%.
100.
Yay. Yeah.
This is indeed the real live and the fantasy.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide.
That's perfect.
No escape from reality. Oh
That's
god,
it.
I'm really feeling it.
That's what I...
You know what I was doing the other day? I was walking down the street to work and I'd been trying to listen to Halloween music just to like kind of get into it, you know, because as somebody who goes to BlizzCon every year, Halloween is no longer a thing at all. This Halloween I'm going to be at Calm Before the Storm talking about Blizzard, not in costume.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I was, I love Halloween. I'm a Caucasian female millennial, and I don't want to like generalize. I know everybody loves Halloween, but it's stereotypical of people like me to like Halloween, and oh fuck do I ever. But so I was trying to like make an effort to listen to Halloween music because music is my favorite medium. Like it's my favorite thing to get me in the mood for stuff. And I was listening to fucking just like a bunch of playlists. Okay, and here's my other thing about it because I got two things.
Okay.
The other thing, you guys didn't know it was the other thing. I didn't have to. Anyway, so, the other thing before the thing was that I made the best Halloween playlist once on Groove Shark, and then of course,
Oh, no.
Groove Shark just kind of like got taken down without any provocation,
Rip Groove Shark.
which is great. But it had like over 100 songs, like hundreds of songs, and it was.
I have heard that list. It was amazing.
It was so good.
It was
And,
the Halloween playlist
It really was. Like, not only did I have like, you know, your stereotypical like your Monster Mash, but I had shit from like the Casper movie. You know what I'm saying?
God.
Like, you know, it was good shit. So so ever since then, like that got ripped away from me without any provocation, I might add. I think I already said that. But I've been like very like critical of Halloween playlists, and I don't like when Halloween playlists just have songs that have the words like monster in it or
Yeah.
darkness
When they half-ass it, it sounds
poison or you know
because
it's
it seems like an algorithm did it versus a human.
exactly. It's like, hey Spotify, look for songs with spooky titles, you know, kind of, and it's just like not spooky, not scary.
Hey
know?
Alexa, play R. Kelly.
Exactly. Drip drip drip. It's the only R. Kelly song I know. And it's not even an R. Kelly
Right?
song.
That's the Dave Chappelle version. Gonna piss on you.
Gonna hate, love is gonna love.
I don't even want none of the above. I'm gonna piss on you.
Drip drip drip. Anyway,
Yes.
so the first thing I was gonna talk about was
Quality.
I came upon a Nightmare Before Christmas song because of course, and honestly, like Nightmare and Rocky Horror Picture Show, both great movies, you know, whatever. But I'm not a big movie fan, and like I prefer listening to the soundtracks from those movies rather than watching them.
Sure.
So I was listening to, it's called Jack's Lament, and it's when Jack the Pumpkin King or whatever, he's singing about how he's just like sick of being the Pumpkin King and how he's just like sick and tired of it. It's so old and he doesn't care anymore. And it's just like, oh fuck, I feel so empty inside and shit. And like, I'm walking down the street and I'm going like, it's just like, I never, like, I fucking, like, I felt it that day, you know? I've never felt that before. Like, I was never there with the Pumpkin King, you know? And then it clicked. I realized that is why this movie resonates with emo kids so much because, you know, like back in the day, like, you know, I was a punk back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Wait, did you put it in quotes, air quotes just now?
Well, yeah, because like I was.
You gotta do the. You gotta do the air quotes for audio.
Oh, whatever. So anyway, so I was a punk back in the day, and then like everywhere I'd go to shop for clothing, would have like, you know, emo stuff and goth stuff back in the day, and it would just be covered in Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, and like that wasn't punk, you know. So it's like fuck. So I was kind of against it as a teenager, but now I get it now. Like that shit's sad.
Like legit sad. Like there's a reason for the emo kids to be sad in that part at least.
Yeah,
but the whole thing.
That. I fucking felt that day.
You felt that shit?
I felt that shit.
Felt that shit.
I felt it.
You know what? When you feel it deep in your cockles, you know it's real.
How'd you know I got cockles?
I didn't, but you just revealed to me that you do.
Oh no.
Nice job. Should we start the show?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's do it.
Aw, shit. I'm lagging balls.
That's right. Lagging Balls, your community-focused World of Warcraft podcast. For the people, by some people. With your hosts, Thorn and Fist. And we are back with episode 193. Welcome, everybody. Hello to the live chat. Hello to you, Fist. How are you?
Oh. You know what? I'm fucking sad.
Aww.
I'm not okay.
Is it because you were listening to The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Well, no. I stopped listening to it after the other day because it's just like, oh shit. No, it's been a week.
Sure has. It sure has. We can come back around to that, but why don't you start with telling us what you've been up to this week?
Let's see. We raided on Wednesday. We cleared heroic in one night, which
oh my god.
Yeah, which is great. That means that we're, you know, we're fucking doing the damn thing. We got that shit on farm. We got on lock. What's up? Fuck yeah, felt good.
Congrats.
We had such a great time raiding that night. It's just sometimes everybody is just in rare form.
Mhm.
And those are the nights that are just like exceptionally fun. And like that day I really needed, because it was right after Tuesday, because Wednesday's after Tuesday. Yesterday is Thursday. Today it is Friday.
Wait a
Anyway,
minute.
Sorry.
That's not what that's not what we were talking about.
Friday.
No! God damn it.
Driving home on Friday.
Listen. That's enough. Back to your story.
Anyway, so I want to tell you guys about some.
Okay.
Lauren, I don't actually know if I told you about this either. We were watching a little bit of Plex Storm while we were raiding. All 15.
While raiding?
Actually, I can't confirm that everybody was watching, but
So that's why it was in raid chat.
Yes.
I saw the link
So-
there, but I assumed you were
Yeah.
sharing it.
Well, I just like I didn't share the link with the intent of like the whole raid team watching it while raiding, but that's what happened. So,
So were they all raiding one-handed is what you were saying?
okay, well listen.
Well, you want to explain what it is for everybody who doesn't know?
Yes, that's what I want to do. So
Okay.
plexstorm.com, plexstorm.com, not cum, but you could try that, but it wouldn't work. Plexstorm is in beta. It's almost exactly like Twitch, without all the bells and whistles, obviously, because it's in beta. But it's like Twitch, except with nudity and stuff. So
Sweet.
yeah, so you'll have people streaming, and most of them are playing video games, but also nude, or will get naked for subs or comments or whatever.
So in essence, what you're saying is this is where we'll go when Twitch finally catches wind about this show and kicks us off?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
No, but no, we'll go to Mixer first. But so anyway, yeah, so it's great. Some people aren't playing video games at all. Sometimes they're just,
No, I don't know. What?
doing other stuff.
Oh.
So the person that we decided to watch collectively while we were playing was a dude. All you could see was the back of his butt sitting on a chair, and he was animating stuff. So like in the bottom of the screen you could see his butt, and then the rest of the screen was him just like animating this cartoon or a video game or something. And he was listening to like smooth jazz, and it was great. And we were having a little chat with him on the side, just be like, hey man, we're all raiding, but we're also watching your butt. And it was a good time. He was really nice.
Did he like
had a
scratch
really
a butt
soothing
once,
voice.
like when you said that you were watching it?
No. But he did
Like
have
bare ass?
Yeah. Totally new.
Wait, just his ass? Was there like an ass cam?
Just ask him.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, it was just fun. It's a good time. I highly recommend Plexstorm. It's a good place to be.
Plexstorm. All right.
Yeah.
That's
so yeah.
plexstorm.com, right? Like you said?
Yeah.
You said .com, right? All right, so you guys can go ahead and type that in for yourself. We're not going to put that one in chat. Plexstorm. For those of you playing at home, we'll probably put it in the show notes. Why not? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's very on brand for us.
It really is.
Video games, inappropriate nudity.
Yeah, catch the other lagging balls stream over there, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, watch out if there's somebody like with the username lagging balls on Plexstorm, because it's probably not funny nomenclature like it is over here. It's probably very literal.
Yep. It's also not us, I swear.
Who knows? I never know. But yeah. And then the next night we just did some heroic Warfront action. Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't know. It's been a weird week for gaming. What about you?
It's been the same for me. I've gotten in some Overwatch, and that's it. Like, really not a whole lot else. Except for a mobile game that I've been playing in between things. It's called Cat Game.
Cat game?
Cat Game. It's very fun. You should check it out. I think it's made for 6-year-olds.
Well, no wonder you like it.
Woo!
I'm sorry.
What else?
It looks
What else this week? Like, you were on CTR, right? Convert
Yep.
to raid.
I was on CTR with the Patinator or whatever. He was tall sitting. You'll have to watch the episode to figure that one out. 'Cause
Okay.
I still don't know. We talked about 8.3 stuff, which I think we might cover a little bit here tonight, but we really went over it on CTR. So if you want to hear some actual news on that, go check that out. But
Okay.
yeah, and then at the end of the show, we covered the thing because it had literally just happened a couple hours prior. So
Okay.
Should we talk about the thing? Because I want to.
We
I
should.
want to talk.
We
about
should probably talk about the thing. Should we move it over to Blizzard news?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do that. Oh, real quick, hold on. The one other thing I wanted to mention about you for this week, though, was that in addition to CTR and then rating, shoot, there was something else. They put out the announcement about Calm Before the Storm.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Hell
congratulations.
yeah. Thank you. That's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, so tell everybody.
Well, let me. I don't remember the stats on that.
Well,
got
while you're
it.
okay,
I got it. I got it. I got it.
nice.
Okay, so I'm on World of Podcasts again this year, which I'm super stoked about. 'Cause
Congratulations.
I love doing that. This will be my third time. Yes, third time. This year I'm on the General Blizzard panel. It's on Halloween at 5 p.m. to 6:15, the second floor of the Anaheim Hilton. And if you're not too jazzed to see me talk about Blizzard, I'm also sitting up there with Garrett from The Instance, Perculia from Wowhead, Taryn Gregory, we all know who he is, Jared
Awesome.
from Blizz Pro, and Dread Scythe. He's a really cool Diablo guy. And I think with this sort of like diverse group of people, we might come up with some pretty cool insights about Blizz.
Absolutely.
So definitely check that out. And then I just wanted to mention that Pat is going to be on the World of Warcraft BFA panel, which is at 8:30, and the Warcraft Classic panel at 10:15 features Platinum WoW, who is of course like one of our best friends. So yeah, it's if you're going to BlizzCon, check out Calm Before the Storm and World of Podcasts, because it's actually like really freaking cool. Like actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can vouch for that. Having attended them before, you should definitely check those out. And there's a ton of content there. This year it's sponsored by Wowhead, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. That's a nice combo.
Heck yeah. That's a wombo combo.
It's a wombo combo. Someone called the Wambulance.
Oh,
Bless
God.
you. Okay, so let's switch over to Blizzard News. Give me 1 second for Zabampa.
This is the fucking news.
Those horns mean we are now in the Blizzard News section. Welcome, everyone, to Blizzard News.
Hello. So,
So, nice lighthearted bumper, huh? Nice funny bumper. It's fun, lighthearted, humorous.
so on Tuesday, that whole thing happened with Blitzchung and
I think we
him
should
getting.
explain.
Do you think we should explain?
Yeah, because
Everybody knows it by now.
no, I don't think so necessarily. Shall I?
All right.
Okay, so ever so briefly, one of the Hearthstone champions, Blitzchung, made a comment on the live broadcast of one of the actual Blizzard streams while he was being interviewed by Blizzard casters in support of Hong Kong. And that caused an absolute shitstorm because making statements like that on a Blizzard broadcast is against the contract that the talent and casters all sign. And then this is a politically charged thing, so there's kind of that extra layer to it as well, I guess. But the whole idea is Blizzard punished him by banning him for a year and removing his the cash part of his winnings from what he just won, right? Okay, so that's the background. That's what he did, and then the fallout is that he was banned for a year, had his winnings rescinded, and then I think also the casters who were involved were also kind of encouraging him and then hid under the desk while he made those comments. And so the comments are not really the issue, except that because the comments are politically charged, it's become this huge thing, right? So that's the background, and that's what happened Tuesday. So in case you've been either under a rock or just don't kind of follow these things or are a little bit more casual, which is fine, that's the background.
Yeah. And it's had a huge impact on social media. And it was just like really hard to see the community kind of get segregated all of a sudden over this issue.
Yeah.
And I don't know. For me, I think the scary thing was like a lot of people that I thought. See, this is hard to say because like I don't want to say that I don't like it when people disagree with my opinions, because I don't, like I want everybody to have their own opinion on things.
Right, of course.
But it's just like it was the sort of thing where like on Tuesday, a couple hours after it happened and everything, there wasn't enough information coming from both sides yet to have such a very strong opinion about things.
Sure.
And at least to me, and that's why I kind of got rubbed the wrong way, because like I understand that some people felt betrayed and had their morals, like I get that, and they wanted to boycott Blizz and unsub from things, and I understand that too, and people are perfectly within their right to do that, and that is their prerogative, and I respect that, because I feel strongly about stuff too, and it's hard for me to talk about a lot of the time. Like you guys know, I hesitate to bring this up because like I'm vegan, and like this doesn't really have anything to do with it, but like I have a lot of like really strong views on veganism and stuff like that, but I never mention it, because they're my own, and I don't feel like airing that stuff all of the time on social media is the right thing to do. But it also, like, having such strong views about that stuff and morals and views that make me feel angry sometimes and make me have rash decisions and make me feel passionate, I'm able to understand people's outrage and stuff when this stuff kind of happens. So even though it's not how I feel, and even though it's something that makes me sad, like I can still understand how people feel. But
yeah.
But this, it was just like, it was so soon after the fact, and we hadn't heard anything from Blizzard yet, and it just seemed too soon to make any sort of like, it just seemed too soon to start being angry and mean, and a lot of people got really angry and really mean all of a sudden, and that was hard because a lot of these people were people that I looked up to and respected and thought were cool, and it didn't necessarily like make me stop thinking well of them, but it was like a blow, like there were a lot of blows for me that day, and it didn't get better the next day, it got worse. And that being said, a lot of people who didn't have the same views as me and who disagreed with me did have like respectful responses, and did say that they were boycotting Blizzard, which made me sad, but also at the same time like did it in a way that made me feel like there's humanity left in them, I guess.
Sure.
So I don't know, it's hard to talk about this stuff because I don't know, like the geopolitical side of this makes it touchy,
right?
And like the freedom of speech thing makes it touchy, and like I just want to say, for the record, I'll be like on the show, like we believe in free speech. We think everybody should have the opportunity to speak their minds, and like we understand that what's happening in Hong Kong is a huge deal, and you know, it's not something to be joked about or talked about lightly or overshadowed by this. But, you know, in essence, like that's what a lot of people were doing on social media. Like Blitzchung was very brave in using this platform that, you know, he wasn't supposed to use, and, you know,
Yeah.
potentially giving up everything he's worked towards and all the money that he's earned to express himself and to put this message out and make people aware. And like that was hugely brave. And
Absolutely.
I respect the fuck out of that. But,
Absolutely.
you know, people were and are focusing on, you know, what Blizzard did in response rather than, you know, his bravery and his message.
And the overall issue.
And
Busy
the
being,
overall issue.
being upset at Blizzard when they should be upset at what's happening.
Yeah. And, you know, I know that there's a lot of, like, viewpoints and a lot of different opinions depending on where people stand and how well people comprehend, like, you know, the grand scheme of what's going on with the protests and stuff. But I just think that, I don't know. I just feel like this whole thing, like Blizzard's response, our response, like, you know, the community at large, and, you know, people involved with Blizzard and some people who like work at Blizzard and some people who are involved with esports. I think everybody collectively could have handled this with more grace, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's easier said than done because, like, you know, nobody ever expects these things to happen. And, you know, when you're outraged, you're outraged. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. But it's just, things just escalated at such a rate and reached fever pitch at such a rate that it was fucking chaos. And it was just really pissing me off.
It really was. Yeah.
So,
And the background for anybody who might be newer to the show, our longtime listeners definitely know this, but this and I tend to take, I don't know, we tend to think of Blizzard as like family. We kind of tend to think of Blizzard as we're far more I guess ingrained with the brand than probably normal people.
oh yeah,
Obviously, we have like a podcast about it, but you know, like what this is explaining here is personal hurt involved with the things that are going down. Like she takes it really hard. She takes it not personally in that like she's offended every time somebody says anything bad about Blizzard. It's not like that. But it's a matter of when there's drama about the Blizzard brand. Like this is like you go into like a depression. Like
Yeah.
it really bothers you.
It's because, like, I kind of attached my wagon to Blizzard a long time ago. And it's been, you know, working with or for Blizzard has always been a dream. And
Yeah.
when I did get to work with Blizz, it was a dream come true. And, you know, I have had and have the pleasure of knowing so many people who work for Blizzard.
Yeah.
And, you know, knowing some of these people very personally and it just, you know, Blizzard's been my dream, and it's provided me with a home and friends and a future and something to work towards and something to love and something to be passionate about. And it was something that I was passionate about when I didn't have passion about anything. And I understand that Blizzard is different now
Mm-hmm.
than it used to be. When we started this show, Blizzard was this adorable, mega yet indie company, you know, that was more like a family and a friend than a corporation. And, you know, Blizzard got really big.
Yeah.
Between when we started LB and now, and, you know, companies that get really, really big and popular, like they change, and it's not, you know, it's not personal, it's business. It's not personal, it's business.
Thank you,
but-
Michael Corleone.
Oh, I was thinking Tom Hanks. But I'm sorry,
I assumed you were going to be thinking Simpsons.
actually no, I was thinking of You Got Mail. So anyway, yeah, we know that Blizzard's different now, and we know that, you know, they're not always right, of course.
Mhm.
And I've been called a Blizzard apologist more than once. You know, I get called a lot, but
Which I think is
you know,
fair. We are fans
it's
of the brand.
totally
You
fair.
tend to do that when you're a fan of the brand, for sure.
Yes, and I certainly do have rose-colored glasses on when it comes to Blizz. I'm in love with Blizzard, you know, and I always have been. But you know, I do understand that the things are different, and it's just like this year in particular. Obviously, it's become really difficult to keep advocating for Blizz and apologizing for Blizz. Like, I still love Blizzard, but not in the same way that I used to, you know? But that being said, like, I still have so much faith in Blizz, and I'm hoping that, like, you know, with every bad thing that happens to Blizzard like this, the closer we get to the company just kind of going, all right, we need to change something here or revert back to the way things were somehow, because, you know, there's something's not working, you know, we're cursed, something's wrong, something's, this well-oiled machine used to be, you know, running, and now it's sputtering out every couple miles. So every time something bad happens, that's what I'm telling myself. I'm just like, okay, maybe this is the time that something's got to give, you know? And I won't ever give that up hope. I won't ever stop hoping for that. And like, the thing that means most to me about Blizzard is the community, and that includes the devs and, you know, just all the people working at Blizzard, and, you know, all of the people who are never responsible for any of the bad things that happen, you know? And you know, the most heartbreaking thing is, like, every time something like this happens, I get DMs from my Blizzard friends, and they can't really talk about it publicly, you know, so they need some place to vent, and sometimes it's in my DMs, and they're scared and they're sad, you know. And, you know, Tuesday and Wednesday was awful because, you know, not only were they scared and sad, they were, like, worried that, you know, people were going to break into HQ, you know, like, worried about getting death threats.
Yeah, that's a little nuts.
And on the other hand, some of them were conflicted because, you know, they're going to work and they're making cool, fun games and just trying their best, you know, like any person who loves their job. And meanwhile, people are telling them that they're evil. They're working for an evil company. And, you know, from where they're standing, it's not evil, you know, but, you know, maybe their morals are being tested, you know, and it just, you know, like, I can't imagine how hard it was for the people who work at HQ to stage a walkout like that. Like, can you imagine trying so
Very
hard
brave.
to work at Blizzard and then having to walk out because your morals are tested so hard?
Yeah, and I'm glad that there were enough of them who banded together to do that, because you can't have a walkout with just a handful, right? Then it just becomes a handful of people who are going to get reprimanded by HR.
Yeah.
So,
So
we should probably talk about our actual stance on it. We talked about the issue. We talked about how you're feeling about it.
Right. I talked about it a little bit on CTR, but my stance is, I think Blitzchung was, like I said, super brave, and I don't appreciate the position he put Blizz in, because I believe it was a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
Same with the casters, but at the same time, like, you know, they signed a contract saying that they wouldn't do what they did, and then they did it, and then they got punished, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and they said something like, if it had been about any other topic, the punishment wouldn't have been so harsh, and I don't believe that. I signed a document like that before I went to Australia for the MDI, and it said, you know, like, please don't, you know, in layman's terms, please don't stand on stage when we're broadcasting live and talk about shit that makes the company look bad. And that makes perfect sense to me, you know?
Absolutely.
And
seems like a standard part of any contract with live broadcast.
Sure, because, like, you're with esports, like, there's so many different esports, so many different branches of those esports, and so many players on so many teams from so many places all around the world. And it is so hard. Like, I've seen it. It is so hard to like corral people, get them set up, help them get to the tournaments. You know, there's just like there's so many, and just like it's like herding cats, you know? And then Blizzard has to be responsible for every single person. You know, all of these people that they, you know, they don't get to interview these people. They don't get to, you know, run background checks or anything like that. They're just like, okay, you qualify for this tournament. We're bringing you in. We're trusting you to, you know, not go crazy and throw things and, you know, say horrible things on stage. You know, please just don't do that and sign this contract saying you won't. And, you know, it's to me, that just makes sense. And I don't believe that, you know, the subject matter of Blitzchung's outburst had anything to do with the punishment. I think that, to me, I feel like he just broke a rule and he got punished, and the same with the casters. That's how I see it. And, you know, most people, a lot of people think that he got punished too harshly, and yes, maybe he did. You know, like I don't know, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do
But
you know if there's any other examples of them taking action against someone saying something they shouldn't on the broadcast? I don't recall hearing
I don't
about
know.
that, but
I don't know.
maybe it was
But
just a minor thing that didn't get all kinds of coverage like this. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. But I'm just like, and I'm thinking back to like remember the first season of Overwatch League, XQC got in trouble for telling Muma to suck a fat cock.
Oh,
you
right,
know?
on his own
And-
stream, right? Like on his personal
on his own
stream.
stream. Fully knowing that Muma is gay, you know, like it didn't. It's like when you tell your raid team to like go suck a fat cock, you
Right.
know? It doesn't mean anything.
Between
You're
friends,
not-
it's a much different
Exactly.
statement.
But
Yeah.
without context and outside of that, it can sound like anything, you know?
Mhm.
And which is why I don't stream my raids, by the way, because we say horrible
true.
shit to each other.
And you could tell
And
he
it
was upset at the time too. Like
Sure,
after he makes
but,
the
like-
comment immediately.
Oh yeah, of course. As soon as he said it, he regretted it because he, you know, he was under contract to behave at the behest of the entire league because he was representing the Dallas Fuel and the Overwatch League, and so they punished him. You know, like they banned him like that. The next day, they're like, "You're fucking banned." You know, and I believe that like Blizz has to, maybe not has to, but Blizz makes examples out of people who do shit like that because they just don't want to keep dealing with it because there are so many people who could slip up like that, you know? Not to say that Blitzchung was slipping up or anything like that, but I just feel like maybe they were trying to make an example out of it, not because of the subject matter, but just because like they really don't want people to do that, you know? And maybe punishing him so severely, maybe you know, before they thought that people would, you know, cry like, you know, political issues and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought, oh shit, we don't want that to happen again. Maybe if we just, you know, make an example out of him by like, you know, punishing him pretty hard, you know, people will think twice about doing that again because, you know, you can't stop anybody from saying stuff on a live broadcast. All you can do is cut it as quickly as you can. So it's dangerous and it's tough. But I don't remember I was going to... right. So my stance on it, long story short, because I'll quit rambling, but my stance on it is I think Blitzchung was very brave, and I think that what he said was really important. If I was in his position, I can't even imagine, you know, like working so hard to be so good at the game and then going to the tournament and winning and, you know, and just giving all of that up for something that you believe in and something that is important. I think that's very brave. And so that's my stance on him. My stance on what Blizz did. I guess that Blizz punished him too hard. I don't feel that way really, but I'm wondering if that's just because to me, like everything that Blizzard does pretty much is just like, okay, I trust Blizzard, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that I'm biased and I'm acknowledging that publicly. I think that I'm biased, and maybe my bias is making it hard for me to register, that the punishment was too harsh because everybody else seems to think it is. So, you know, I guess I would agree if somebody could explain that to me. But
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was asking about other punishments, because I was looking for a comparison point. And thank you, Wiki Kitten, for bringing up the the reminder about how Arrow was banned in HGC in 2018.
right.
Obviously not the same kind of situation, but he was pretty toxic, and I know that he got kicked. Now I don't remember the details. I was trying to look them up a little bit on the side here, but it's just
Yeah.
it's too much to read at the moment. But
that's a good point too. Like Blitzchung was not being toxic,
right, he doesn't
Like, he
have
was-
like a history of. He's a well-behaved player,
Yeah.
whereas Arrow was that guy has a
Yeah.
history.
Like what Blitzchung did was not toxic. It was brave.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
But see, okay, so here's the really important difference. We are coming at this from the perspective of why is everybody so upset? Player did something they shouldn't have. Player got punished for the thing they knew they shouldn't have done. That is literally in a contract. From our perspective, all we saw it as was a breach of contract between two business partners, right? That happened to be in the public eye. While retaining the notion that this was brave as hell of him to do, not only for the loss of this stuff, but as chat said earlier, I think it was Cap who said it earlier, that he put his life at risk to do this. This is a big deal,
Yeah.
And that side of things, Blizzard is not punishing. Blizzard was punishing an act on their own broadcast that they made very clear was not okay to do, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you can disagree about the level of punishment, which has now been rolled back. But that's it. That's the issue. Now everybody's making it all about all of the political stuff behind it, but that has nothing to do with the action that was taken by the authority in the matter, the company. And again, if you want to call us Blizzard apologists, that's fine. If you want to say that we have a skewed opinion, we absolutely do. Absolutely do. But
Yes.
to me, that doesn't change the fact that there's a contract, breach of contract equals punishments, and that's it. Now, this isn't Blizzard taking a political stance one way or the other. This isn't them saying, oh, you support Hong Kong? Well, we want to make sales in China, so fuck you. It has nothing to do with that. That's what his comment had to do with. But what happened between these two parties has nothing to do with the substance of the comment other than the fact that it was inappropriate. Because it was on a game podcast. I'm sorry. This is a game podcast. A game broadcast.
Yeah.
But that's it,
Well,
because
yeah.
I don't know that many people involved on either side of this quote unquote issue. I'm still gonna put it in air quotes. There you go, audio guys, because to me it's not an issue. To you, it's not an issue. We're having trouble understanding why this is a problem. What should have happened was Blizzard punished him for this stuff, and it got more publicity for the issue, which is something that's good. It's good to be aware of these world issues. It's good to be aware of
Yeah.
these geopolitical issues, especially when it comes to human rights. So Blizzard acting on a breach of contract has nothing to do with their stance on human rights. I don't understand this wild extrapolation. In my opinion, a very wild leap to make to get over to there. Now, there's tons of precedents for that. People do that all the time. Let me give you an example. I don't like Chick-fil-A. One, because I don't eat meat. But I also happen to have a strong opinion about when a company's ownership or the company's money is spent on things that I don't approve of. That's my choice. I'm not a fan of Chick-fil-A. Doesn't hurt any of you guys that I don't care to eat their chicken sandwiches. And that part of that has to do with the fact that I don't agree with the politics of their ownership. But that's my opinion, and that's my dollar to spend as I see fit. Now, does that mean that I'm going to go rail against the company publicly and try to incite others to boycott them? And then, I don't know, just have all these extreme. No, it just means I'm not a fan, so I'm going to speak with my wallet and not deal with their shit, which I think, to be fair, is the idea of the boycott. This is people speaking up to say, boycott Blizzard. We don't agree with them putting the almighty dollar above human rights, which
Right.
I would agree with you on, but I don't think that this is that. That's all.
Yeah, that's true. I think you and I, Thorin, see this issue and that issue as two very separate things that don't have much to do with each other.
Yeah.
All that being said, though, this is just the way we feel about it, and if this is the complete opposite of the way you feel, that's cool. You know, like
Absolutely
we're
legitimate.
not trying to force our opinions on anybody or try to convince you otherwise. This is just how we feel about the situation. And if you feel the same way, that's cool. And if you don't, that's also cool. Because, you know, ultimately, this whole thing, like, it's been very unfortunate for Blizzard, but for Blitzchung and for everybody who felt anything towards him because of this, you know, now we know who he is. Now we know that what he's dealing with is just that important, that he had to go through all this to make sure we knew about it. Now we understand these political issues better. Now we're thinking about, you know, China and boycotting things and thinking about where things are produced and where things come from. Like, this is good, you know? It's good for everyone but Blizzard is good.
Yeah.
You know, and J. Allen Brack released a statement today, finally, and they're
Do you have it handy? Do you want to read it?
I do. Should I read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, this is the latest update about it. This is the full and official update from them on this issue. Please do read it.
Okay, so just pretend I'm Jab. Hello, Blizzard community. I just want to take a few minutes to talk to all of you about the Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament this past weekend. On Monday, we made the decision to take action against a player named Blitzchung and 2 shoutcasters after the player shared his views on what's happening in Hong Kong on our official broadcast channel. At Blizzard, our vision is to bring the world together through epic entertainment, and we have core values that apply here. Think globally, lead responsibly, and most importantly, every voice matters, encouraging everybody to share their point of view. The actions that we took over the weekend are causing people to question if we are still committed to these values. We absolutely are, and I will explain. Our esports programs are an expression of our vision and our values. Esports exist to create opportunities for players from around the world, from different cultures and from different backgrounds, to come together to compete and share their passion for gaming. It is extremely important to us to protect these channels and the purpose they serve, to bring the world together through epic entertainment, celebrate our players, and build diverse and inclusive communities. As to how those values apply in this case. First, our official esports tournament broadcast was used as a platform for a winner of this event to share their views with the world. We interview competitors who are at the top of their craft to share how they feel. We want to experience that moment with them. Hearing their excitement is a powerful way to bring us together. Over the weekend, Blitzchung used his segment to make a statement about the situation in Hong Kong, a violation of rules he acknowledged and understood, and this is why we took action. Every voice matters, and we strongly encourage everyone in our community to share their viewpoints in the many places available to express themselves. However, the official broadcast needs to be about the tournament and to be a place where all are welcome. In support of that, we want to keep official channels focused on the game. Second, what is the role of shoutcasters for these broadcasts? We hire shoutcasters to amplify the excitement of the game. They elevate the watchability and help the esports viewing experience stay focused on the tournament and on our amazing players. Third, were our actions based on the content of the message. Part of thinking globally, leading responsibly, and every voice matters is recognizing that we have players and fans in almost every country in the world. Our goal is to help players connect in areas of commonality like their passion for our games and create a sense of shared community. The specific views expressed by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. I want to be clear, our relationships in China had no influence on our decision. We have these rules to keep the focus on the game and on the tournament to the benefit of a global audience, and that was the only consideration in the actions we took. If this has been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same in the same divisive and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same. Okay, so what could Blizzard have done better, and where do we go from here? Over the past few days, many players, casters, esports fans, and employees have expressed concerns about how we determine the penalties. We've had a chance to pause, to listen to our community, and to reflect on what we could have done better. In hindsight, our process wasn't adequate, and we reacted too quickly. We want to ensure that we maintain a safe and inclusive environment for all of our players and that our rules and processes are clear. None of this is in service of another important Blizzard value. Play nice, play fair. In the tournament itself, Blitzchung played fair. We now believe that he should receive his prizing. We understand that for some this is not about the prize, and perhaps for others it is disrespectful to even discuss it. That is not our intention. But playing fair also includes appropriate pre- and post-match conduct, especially when a player accepts recognition for winning in a broadcast. When we think about the suspension, 6 months for Blitzchung is more than appropriate, after which time he can compete in the Hearthstone Pro Circuit again if he so chooses. There's a consequence for taking the conversation away from the purpose of the event and disrupting or derailing the broadcast. With regard to the casters, remember their purpose is to keep the event focused on the tournament. That didn't happen here, and we are setting their suspension to 6 months as well. Moving forward, we will continue to apply tournament rules to ensure our official broadcasts remain focused on the game and are not a platform for divisive social or political views. One of our goals at Blizzard is to make sure that every player everywhere in the world, regardless of political views, religious beliefs, race, gender, or any other consideration, always feels safe and welcome, both competing in and playing our games. At Blizzard, we are always listening and finding ways to improve. It is part of our culture. Thank you for your patience with us as we continue to learn. Sincerely, J. Allen Black, President of Blizzard Entertainment.
Okay.
So, sorry. That was hard.
Fair.
Um,
How do you feel about that statement? Because that just came out like right today, right?
Yeah, just a couple hours ago. I think it's fair. To be honest, I'm just relieved that they released a statement at all. J. Allen Brack hasn't released too many statements since he's been president.
Man, did he step in at a time.
Oh, yeah.
Every moment of his presidency so far has been something dramatic.
Yeah. I think I started this conversation saying that everybody reacted too quickly. He acknowledged Blizzard's, knee-jerk reaction in that. I think that's one of the biggest problems in this whole thing is just everybody acted way too quickly. Everybody blew up. Everybody got really mad or scared or butthurt or happy or I don't know. Just too many emotions came out, from Blizz, from the community, from social media, from everybody. People are criticizing this compromise and this statement because, it came out on Friday night, so less people are, looking at it or whatever. Honestly, I don't even care anymore why people are angry at this. What do you want? What do you want? Did you not what could make this better? People are always gonna criticize Blizz for everything they do, even if it's exactly what they wanted yesterday. Today they want something different, or it's not good enough, or whatever, or they're gonna find something wrong with it, and it's just, at the end of that statement, Jab said thank you for your patience with us as we continue to learn. This is not something, that they're preparing for, they should be prepared for shit like this to go down, as any large company should, but fuck, dude, could you imagine having to deal with this shit all of a sudden in the middle of the week one day and you're just holy fuck, what do we do? It's like that episode of The Simpsons, the elephant episode where Stampy is running around Springfield and he's about to run through a peanut factory and the manager of the peanut factory closes the doors and he's like, all right, everybody, no, this is the day we've always prepared for. Some of you laughed at me, but I told you this would happen. And then the fucking elephant crashes through the door. They weren't fucking prepared for this elephant. It just fucking crashed through the door. So give them a fucking break. They got the statement out before the week was through. Before if they had released it on the weekend, people would be like, oh, you released on the weekend, nobody's paying attention. And if they released it on Monday, they would have been like, wow, it took you a whole fucking week. Whether this compromise makes you feel better or not, that's cool. It's for you to decide.
Yeah.
If if you feel better, you know, being in love with Blizz, like if your morals, you know, if you feel better about this, if you feel like you trust Blizzard again, or if you don't, that's totally up to you. But like, you have to acknowledge the fact that like they're learning, they're trying, and they actually issued a statement and they're trying to figure this out, you know, because this is just like everybody has to agree that this is a mess. It's just a complete mess.
Yeah.
And like this issue in China is so much bigger than a game company. It's so much bigger than, you know, bros hanging out playing video games like us, you know? And I hate to say it because like that's my whole life, but it's much, much, much bigger. And we've been dragged into this, and now the whole world's looking at us Blizzard fans and people who look at Blizz and Blizz as a whole, and you know, they're criticizing, and you know, some people in the game industry are taking this and running with it, and it sucks. Like I muted and blocked a ton of people this week that I used to think were cool, and I want to stress again, like I didn't block or mute a single person. Blocking and muting, you know, being like representing me like not being cool with that person anymore, or not thinking well of that person anymore. But I did not block or mute anyone who had a different opinion than me. I only blocked and muted people who went too fucking far, you know?
Sure. Like threatening violence kind of thing.
Exactly. Some people just went too fucking far, and some of them were people I admire. And you know what, the thing that hurt, not the thing that hurt most, but like one of the things that's been bothering me the most about this whole thing is that some of my really good friends don't agree with me about this. And again, that's okay, but I feel it, you know?
Yeah.
I feel that, and it sucks, you know? I don't, and you know, I'm the most Blizzardy people that some people know, you know?
Yeah.
You know how you've got that one person in your life? Just
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, my fucking aunt, she fucking loves Garfield so fucking much. So every time anything Garfield happens, I go to her and talk to her about it. So I'm, in some people's lives, I'm the most Blizzardy person they know.
Sure.
And like, as soon as this all went down, they're like, hey, this, what do you think? And I'm like, one, I don't want to talk about it. But two,
it's a little early.
Yeah, and you know, they wouldn't argue with me, but you know, they'd be like, well, this, you know, I don't think you're right. I don't agree. And that doesn't feel good. Like this whole thing is just so fucking, it's too big. It's too much. And people are feeling too much and saying too much and just not giving anything a chance to shake out, you know?
Right.
And I know that in a couple of weeks, everything will have shooken out, you know? And I'm not saying that everything will be better, because, you know, as long as the issues are going on with Hong Kong, it's not going to be better. Because, you know, this Blizzard part is just so small in the grand scheme of things. But things will shake out. And the people that are so hot-headed and said shitty things will have moved on to the next hot topic issue. And, you know, in the dust, we will be left, you know, with, you know, different opinions on people and, you know, different opinions on people. But at least in my case, at least, I know more about this issue than I probably ever would have. And I think that's good. So, you know, there's a lot of bad to this chaotic situation. And a lot of bad will be left over when it shakes out in a couple weeks, but at least we're more aware, you know, and that's what Blizzchung wanted in the first place. So,
and I think that part is really awesome, and that's why we're going to add a link to the show notes and to the chat here, just of just like a news video about what is actually happening over there. So this is not taking a stance on it either way. This is literally just an informative link. So if you are not informed on the issue and want to be, we'll include that here so that you can at least have a starting point.
Yeah, I think everybody should. And like, even whether you agree with all this Blizzard stuff or not, like educate yourself, you know? Like I did, like on Tuesday, I'm not gonna lie, like I called Pat Crane twice on my way home, and I was like, Pat, I don't think that we should fucking do a show. I think that, you know, it was just hours after this all went down, and I was like, I feel like we're asking for it. I don't feel good about it. And he's like, no, let's just do it anyway. And I'm like, Okay, and then hung up. And then like a couple hours later, I called him again, and I was just like, Pat,
Hey man, are you sure?
I don't think we should do this show. I really don't think it's a good idea. And he's like, why? And I'm like, well, because everybody's mad. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And I'm like, all right, but if this comes back to haunt me, I'm throwing you under the bus. I'm saying it was all you, Patrick. He's like, okay. I'm like, God damn it. But like Pat encouraged me to do it anyway.
Of course.
And I'm glad he did, because it's hard to talk about this stuff, especially in a position like ours where people might just not want to listen to LB anymore, or
I know. I hate
interact
that.
with us because of this.
There's a lot of repercussions.
Yes, but at the same time, like, a lot of people that I blocked or muted were content creators and streamers and stuff who I had admired before.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, and so look, I want to bring up a couple of points just for consideration. You know our stance on it. You know our perspective. So obviously take this with a grain of salt. But I do want you to consider a couple of things. If you are on the other side of this issue, just consider these things, because I think they're kind of less talked about. One, a reminder that Blitzchung put himself in physical danger to do this. And so again, not only do we feel like this is brave of him, this is downright courageous that he did this. And so like, I think the people who might disagree with our point of view probably don't disagree on that point, but I think it's important that you hear that from this perspective, because you can believe both. You can believe that he was courageous in what he did, and that the punishment between the two is their business and whatever. Because that's, to us, it's really more of a non-issue. The issue is the fallout of all of this that we don't feel is fair. That's our perspective on the thing. The other part is, before you go thinking that, this one poor player has been hurt by this, and oh God, look what they've done to him and those poor casters. Do consider that boycotting a brand like this has repercussions of hurting a lot of people. Remember how upset you were when Blizzard laid off people earlier? Imagine how much more, or how many more people will be losing their jobs, and all the families as a result who will struggle as a result of that, because I don't know, China decides to go the way of what they did with the Houston Rockets in the NBA. Because reminder, and I guess some enlightenment for anybody who's not involved in the larger conversation in all of this. Days before this happened, I want to say it was the GM of the Houston Rockets, the NBA team, made a personal comment on his personal Twitter in support of Hong Kong. And like within days, the NBA broadcasts for the entirety of China had been cut. That's a hell of a repercussion. So I know that we're sitting here saying that it's not necessarily of that caliber, but we're talking about what, in my opinion, is an unfathomably kind of borderline crazy and difficult to understand government with some extreme views on things. And because of their economic power in the world, you have to consider all the facets involved in this. And it's far too simplistic, overly simplistic, and downright disrespectful to reduce these issues down to these little things that we're talking about here. Now, I think that part is something that's shared by the other perspective as well, that this is an important issue and that it needs to be given respect and full credence. We're offering these things both as another perspective and some other points of consideration that you might just want to consider as well. That it's not as simple as it may seem. There are a lot of facets involved. Again, that's not the reason that we believe. I believe what Jab said in the statement. Now, the background is that J. Allen Brack didn't sit down and write this statement out and then think about it and cross out that line. And a whole team of people came together to make this statement, because that's what you do in this situation. It's called crisis communications. I used to be in public relations. That's how this stuff works. That's why there's an official prepared statement. That's why it was released on Friday. That is purposeful, absolutely. You definitely do these things with certain timing and in certain ways to be very specific about and very purposeful about your response. So if people are upset that it's released on a Friday, they're absolutely right about the timing. There's a reason for that timing, for sure. I don't know the explanation of that, but crisis communications patchwork, if you will, tends to happen on those sorts of times, because that's kind of the standard issue for a crisis communication statement. This is different because crisis communication statements sound corporate. This doesn't necessarily, because J. Allen Brackett was in that room with that group of people. I guarantee it. This was not written by corporate public relations department only and then approved by the CEO or whatever that might happen in another company. This is maybe some drafts written by them, maybe the first draft written by Jab himself, that sort of thing, and then refined with a group and executives and all that sort of thing. One, that's the reason why it takes a while to happen. Two, there's absolutely some corporate speak stuff in there. That's going to happen for sure. But if you really read that statement and compare it to any other crisis communications comment from any other corporation, they sound vastly different, because this one sounds like it's written by a human being. And so that's another good thing to consider. So again, no matter what your perspective is, now you know ours. This is a hot issue. It's something that's obviously bothered Thist a hell of a lot. It's bothered me as well. It's bothering a lot of people. We are glad that you guys are still here, those of you who are. We hope you won't kind of take it out on everything that you love, because this is kind of nutso time in the world, and things like games are a very good thing. So you should definitely stick to those.
And that was a good. There's some conversation in general chat in our Discord today, and one of the best points that was brought up was like, you know, I don't like when there's so much politics in video games, because I game to escape shit like this.
Yep.
And that's a good point. And I don't know, just if you're feeling bummed out about this and conflicted, like you know, you have a BlizzCon ticket and you still want to play WoW or whatever, but you also feel really bad about what happened, like worse than we do. And if it's, I just want to tell, like, it's okay, you know, you can do both. Like, don't, if you feel like you should boycott Blizz, but you don't want to because you still love it, don't, you know, like,
give it some time, reconsider later.
Yes. And stay because of the people who work so hard on it. And like, if you don't know anybody from Blizzard personally, I can tell you that most of them are the best people you'll ever meet. And they were us, you know, they start as one of us, and they love creating and they love video games, and they try so hard to make it, and then they make it, and they work at Blizz, and it's a dream come true, and they just want to go to work and live their dream and do the best that they can for us. And and you know, if you need a good reason to stay, or something that's going to make you feel better, just do it for them, you know. And if you still feel bad, educate yourself, you know, figure out what it is that you need to know about these issues, and then find out how you can help. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And the education part is the best part that came out of this. I am, just like you, I am far more educated about this issue now that all of this has come to fruition and to light. And so that's a really good thing. There are so many issues going on in the world that it's kind of hard to keep up with all of them. This is a huge one. It's, you know, it's really important. And I'm glad that I know more about it now.
Me too. It's worth knowing.
And again, my personal stance on the issue itself has not really been brought up here, because that's not important. My opinion, what the hell do you care about my opinion on politics? Well, you shouldn't, because that's not what this fucking show's about. It's about dick and fart jokes and fucking video games. Okay? So listen, we're going to end here with some fucking video games, because we love you guys and drama fucking sucks. And now it's taken up an entire episode. So that's what happened in the in the Blizzard sphere this week thus far, and it's probably going to bleed into next week as well. So even if you're listening to this late, it's probably going to be still kind of happening and whatever. So, you know, take your time, form your opinions, that sort of thing. Just give it a little time, think twice before you act either way. And in the meantime,
just know that if you don't feel the same, we still love and respect you.
Absolutely.
We're glad that you're here.
Yeah.
We can all get along even if we don't agree, but we only have to agree on one thing, and that's like, don't be a dick.
That's right.
One rule. The
golden LB rule. Mm-hmm. So before we head out, I just want to thank some patrons real quick, because if there's another thing we agree on, it is that these three are insane, and that is Crushinator, Crispy, and Arsenic. You guys give us life.
Thank you so much.
And
guys.
money.
We'll be back
Thank
next
you.
week. We will have the amazing answers that you guys wrote for question. It's about Halloween Terror. Hopefully, Halloween Terror is out by then, because I'm jonesing for it.
Yeah, hell
I
yeah.
want to kill Zomnix so bad.
Yeah, and that's what you get for
But,
making a prediction, right?
Yep, that's what I
That's
get.
why it didn't come out this.
I know. But yeah, yeah, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program, but we just felt like this owed a serious
Yeah,
thingy show.
full credence, full yeah. So a little bit more of a serious one for you guys. That happens here once in a while. We love you.
We love you guys.
Be good out there. We wish you
yeah.
many loot drops.
And if you see a dev online, tell them how much you appreciate them. This wasn't their fault.
Yeah, send them a nude.
Send them
Noodle.
a couple nudes. just ask them if they would
Ask
like
them first, right?
Yes.
Nothing unsolicited.
Yeah. And if you're feeling down, check out plexstorm.com.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank you for that.
It always makes me feel better. Sometimes.
Always, sometimes.
I don't know.
Okay. Thanks, guys. To the live chat, cheers to you guys. To those of you playing at home, we love you so much. And we will catch you next time.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
And give me a sec for bumper. Hey ballers, send us your thoughts, comments, dick pics, whatever. We appreciate all content and feedback. Now stay tuned for some other stuff that's awesome. Bye, Felicia. And that's it.
All right. Should we throw it
Yes.
to Azeroth on table?
We absolutely share.
Cool.
Shit, one
Sorry that was so serious, guys. You
Oh,
know
no.
we don't like being serious on the show, but holy shit.
Sorry, one sec. I always have to copy over the link. Okay, when we get over there, everyone say
Balls.
balls. All right, here we go. Rating over now.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend, guys.